A rose, a cheerleader, and a 1969 Pontiac Firebird could all be different definitions of American beauty. The 1999 film American Beauty makes the case that beauty is also hidden, and we need to look beyond the obvious to find beauty beneath. The movie portrays a typical suburban American family that has achieved the American dream. However, that dream starts to slowly disintegrate into a nightmare. Lester is stuck in a dead end job that he hates, and at home, he is resented by both his wife and daughter. His wife, Carolyn, is an unsuccessful real estate agent who is ambitious. Lester's daughter, Jane, is a typical teenager, angry at her parents and at life because she feels unloved. Lester's life takes a turn when, during his midlife crisis, he gets infatuated with Angela, a cheerleader. The infatuation becomes a catalyst for Lester to quit his job and attain a muscular body, all in an effort to impress Angela. Through the course of the movie, Carolyn has an affair, Jane falls in love with Ricky, a drug dealer, and Colonel Fitz is convinced that Ricky and Lester are having a homosexual relationship. The movie ends with Lester realizing the immorality of his sexual fantasy and Colonel Fitz murdering Lester to protect his dark secret of being a homosexual. American Beauty highlights the following concepts: gender identity, class identity, sexual identity, age identity, power distance, and individualism. Roses are used as a metaphor for beauty throughout the movie. Guns, weights, marijuana, and rose petals are all used as important symbols throughout the movie. The interpretive approach is defined as, quote, ethnography of communication, a common interpretive approach. These scholars look for symbolic meaning of verbal and nonverbal activities in an attempt to understand patterns and rules of communication, unquote. Guns in American Beauty are symbolic of power, stress relief, and protection. For example, Carolyn practices at the local gun range for stress relief and evolves to view guns as a source of power and protection. Lester smokes marijuana while he lifts weights in an effort to build a muscular body. Lester's marijuana use symbolizes rebellion and freedom from conformity. Weights symbolizes masculinity in the physical form. While there are many important symbols used in American Beauty, the movie portrays many present-day issues concerning gender identity, class identity, and sexual identity. Gender identity comes into play in Lester's family, where Carolyn is head of the family, while Lester has to live in the shadow of a domineering wife. Lester and Carolyn live in the suburbs, have good jobs, and are fairly educated, points to their middle-class status or class identity. Lester subverts age identity by quitting his job in his 40s, smoking marijuana daily while avoiding his family responsibilities. American Beauty also takes a stab at sexual identity. Colonel Frank Fitz, a homophobic veteran, neglects his wife both sexually and emotionally while secretly harboring desires for a homosexual relationship. A power distance is defined as, quote, social inequality, including the relationship with authority, a cultural variability dimension that concerns the extent to which people accept an unequal distribution of power, unquote. For example, Lester's company is downsizing, and an efficiency expert, Brad, directs Lester to write a letter explaining his usefulness to his company. This scene is symbolic of power distance, as Brad holds all of the power and is the gatekeeper to Lester's continued employment at the company, while Lester feels completely helpless in their exchanges. Individualism is core to American culture, the idea that emphasizes individual successes over an entire group. Individualism in the book is defined as, quote, a value held by European Americans, places importance on individuals rather than on families. This characteristic is often cited as the most important European American cultural value, unquote. Carolyn Burnham is a character symbolizes individualism because she relies solely on herself. Carolyn constantly pushes herself to be successful in the real estate market and takes over as head of the household, presumably because her husband is unwilling or incapable of the task. Hollywood typically does not produce mainstream movies that deals with so many important cultural concepts. It is a movie that questions the American cultural tendency of consumption, of consumerism, unbridled ambition, sexual identity, predefined concepts of beauty, family, and individualism. Even after the Burnhams have achieved the American dream, they display the desire to escape from its pressures in order to find happiness. American Beauty emphasizes the costs associated with achieving the American dream and that family cohesiveness, empathy, mindful communication, and love are the true pathways to happiness. Thank you.